Hi, and welcome to Mandarines. This is episode 5. Today is Thursday, February the 19th, I think. Today I'd like to talk about knitting. As usual, I don't have any work in progress at the moment, but I have one finished object that I would like to show you. I have some embroidery as well, some yarn acquisitions, some of my favorite things that I'd like to share with you, and some botanical notes if you're interested. So, knitting. I don't have anything on the needles anymore. I told you that I cast off the water lily the week before, and I've been wearing it nonstop ever since it's been off the needles. Nothing on the needles. It sounds really, really weird. I ordered more yarn to cast on another water lily. The yarn arrived, I think, at the end of last week. But I don't know, I wasn't really pleased with the color. The color was really nice. The color was really nice, but not for me. I knew that I wouldn't really like wearing it. I'm more into pale colors, especially for spring, and I thought that the color of that yarn was going to be soft. Sorry, I pressed the stop recording button. So as I was saying, that the color was like too dark for me and I wouldn't wear it, so I sent it back and I ordered another color. So I hope that this will work out. I'm really excited to cast another one on. I've just finished watching the Little Bobbins podcast, and Danny said that she's about to cast one on, and she received her yarn as well. She's using the same yarn that I have used for my first water lily, which is the Drops baby alpaca silk, and I think she's casting on with Deb, which is Tink Hickman on Instagram. And yeah, I think they're going to cast on this weekend, so I hope that I will receive the yarn in time so we could knit at the same time. It could be really nice. And I love my water lily so much. I'm trying not to wear it every day, so I think casting another one on is a really good idea. So then I could get more wear out of my sweaters. So nothing on the needles. I have something finished as well, but I cannot show you quite yet. So yeah, I'm excited to cast something else on. It's so weird not to have anything on the needles. I feel quite empty, if that makes sense. I just miss knitting. I just cannot have one day without the needles clicking. It feels so weird. I also have to go to the post office because I received an order from the UK. I ordered some yarn from eBay. Sometimes in the evening, I told you already about it, I just love to spend time to browse used stashes on Ravelry, or more recently ebay.co.uk. Because there's some yarn that I cannot find anywhere else, and that's the first time that I placed an order. I found some 3D yarn from Scotland that was really cheap, and I thought it was really beautiful, so I just ordered 4 skeins. I don't have anything in mind for that yarn yet, which is weird because I always buy yarn for a specific project. So yeah, I just ordered the yarn, and it was cheap, so I don't feel guilty about it. I will show it to you next week because it's already in the post office, and I will have to go and get it. So this week or the week before, I also got the yarn that I talked about in my previous podcast, and it's the Whole and Sons yarn. And it's a DK, and it's 100% pure new wool. Pure Paul Dorset wool. So the sheep are raised in Dorset, and I've been waiting for this yarn like forever, as I told you. So I got 2 skins. It's very sheepy, very rustic, and I just love it. I thought that I would cast it on straight away, but like it's so beautiful, and I know that it's available in very limited quantities. So at the moment, I will just keep it, I think. So I got this. So I have more yarn on the way. So the one that I told you from Scotland, the yarn to my water lily, and I've also placed an order for a sweater quantity of fingering weight yarn. So very excited. And it's a blend of, I think, merino and cotton. So I will show you later. Talking about finished objects. So if you remember, yes, I talked about it previously. If you remember, in August, I cast on an Icelandic sweater. I was really, really inspired to cast on sweaters at that moment, and I think on Instagram I saw quite a lot of Icelandic sweaters, and I just ordered the yarn and cast on at the end of August, and I knit almost the whole sweater within 1 week, and then I don't know, that was a lot of stockinette, so I got probably bored, so I just put it aside, and I don't know, like it didn't feel right because I dropped my markers, so I didn't know where I was supposed to get the decreases for the body shaping and to divide the armholes. So I had no clue where I was, so I was a little bit blind in that knitting, and so I wasn't really pleased, and I was extremely worried that it would not fit and I would have like massive errors in the pattern, not in the pattern, in my knitting. So yesterday I only had to rip back the top because I forgot to shape the neckline with the short rows, and because I didn't have my markers, I didn't know where I had to do the short rows. So I tried to use my brain a little bit because I know how short rows work, but I'm not very confident with them yet. So I've just tried to trust my instincts and make it work. So when it was on the needles, I've tried it on a couple of times, and it was really, really tight, really, really tight. And that was one of the other reasons why I was really scared, and that's why I didn't knit on it that much. And this week, there's an Instagrammer that is called Ava Dory, I think. And she just finished her Icelandic sweater. That's a top-down sweater, and it was so beautiful that she inspired me and motivated me to finish mine, because it's been sitting in the project back forever, and that was it. It had to be finished. So here it is. I still have to sew the ends in and do the armholes, but I was really surprised. I'm not sure it's very symmetrical. Maybe there's one side higher than the other. I'm not sure. It's hard to tell, but it's okay. I mean, like I made so many mistakes in that sweater. Like I think I just followed the pattern for maybe until here, and then I was trying to figure out how to do the rest of the sweater. I followed the chart for the Fair Isle section, but then honestly, this parts I had no clue of what to do, no idea. So I modified the sweater quite a bit because I didn't really follow the pattern. I added some Fair Isle on the sleeves, and here you're supposed to have some garter stitch, and I decided to go with ribbing instead. So ribbing here and ribbing on the neckline as well. It's a bit too hot at home to show you right now, and it's not completely dry, so I will try to wear it the next time. I hope that it will not get too small with the once it will be dry, or when I will sew the armholes. At the moment, it's quite good. It's not too loose and it's not too tight, so I'm quite pleased with it. I was dreaming of an Icelandic sweater for such a long time, so I'm very pleased that I managed to finish it. So I wanted to show you, I was inspired by Molly of the Homespun House podcast, because she's always talking about her favorite things, and I just thought it was really inspiring, and I could show you some of my favorite things too. So this little teapot, I got it for €3 in a charity shop, and I just love it. It's so pretty, tiny. I love the color. It matches my water lily. Love it so much. There's enough for 2 or 3 cups of tea, and yeah, I just love it when I'm all by myself at home. I always use it, and it also goes perfectly with the tea that I'm drinking at the moment. It's yogi tea licorice. I bought it at the organic shop last week, and it's been a favorite of mine ever since I've tried it. And if you're familiar with yogi tea, they have this logo like great taste, and there's like different stars. So when I go to the organic shop and I know that I want to try something new, but I'm a bit afraid that I won't like it, I always try to get the ones with the stars, so I'm quite sure that it's going to be a good one. And that's true. It's really, really good. What else? So for Christmas, I ordered an essential oil diffuser, and it only arrived a couple of weeks ago because it was out of stock, and it's burning the whole day long. I just love it. I've been wanting one for ages, so I'm really, really pleased with it. And I bought some essential oils, Mandarine. I love that smell so much. That's the one that is burning at the moment. And eucalyptus oil as well. I love it because it's so fresh in the house, especially when I've just finished cleaning. I love to drop some drop a few drops in the bucket to make the house smell good. I don't use chemical products to clean the house. I just use white vinegar and I think it's called baking powder, and I mix them together. So you got like a huge volcano happening in the bucket, and then I just drop a few essential oils in the mix, and it smells so good. Rambling. Something else that I absolutely love and that reminds me of my childhood is Savon de Marseille. And so when I went to the organic shop the other day, I saw that they were selling Savon de Marseille, and it's been really hard to find soap here. It's been really hard to find soap that I really like here. Of course, Latvian use soap. It's just that my skin is extremely sensitive. I have psoriasis and different skin problems. And yeah, it's been really hard to find really good products for my skin. And this has been a favorite ever since I've discovered it. This one is sweet almond. This one is grapefruit and orange. And this one is églantine, that translated as wild rose. I don't know if it's accurate, wild rose. Anyway, they just smell fantastic, and they leave the skin like so soft. And I've been doing the same thing as Molly. I always try to cut a small piece of soap and just leave it in my project bag so that everything smells really, really good. I just love it. So that's it for my favorite things that I want to show you today. So a few months ago, I started to share on my blog something that I have called the Botanical embroidery project. And so this project is I'm always inspired by plants and by flowers and everything related to nature. And I've decided to capture plants or flowers that I really loved in a specific place or at a specific time of my life, and take pictures and recently used thread and needles to embroider the plants and flowers that really struck me. And so the first project was, I think it's called Pussy Willow, and it grows everywhere here in the forest behind. And before coming here, I've never seen this plant before, and I thought it was absolutely fantastic. The flowers, they're like cotton balls, like it's just fantastic. And recently there's one flower that I saw at the market, and I was so curious. I've never seen this plant before, and it's called wax flower, and I thought it was so beautiful. I got 1 or 2 branches because it was quite expensive, so I got 1 or 2 branches, and so I kept it for a week or so, and then I've tried to dry some of the flowers, but it didn't work out so well. So I only have photographs of that plant, and I don't know when I will be able to get some more. So I decided to get some thread and just embroider it. I don't know if you can see very, yeah, clearly. So this is it. That's the second project. And so my plan is to, I don't know if I can show you better. My plan is to keep doing it with different flowers that I discover here or plants. And later I hope to have a corner of my home that will be filled with these hoops with embroidery, and every time that I will look at them I will be reminded of a specific moment in my life, a specific place, and it will bring me happy memories, or yeah, just good moments that I had. So yeah, I have some other plans to for the upcoming projects. One of my favorite flower is heather, and it grows everywhere in the woods here. I just love it so much, and in the summer it's absolutely everywhere. So I thought I would give a try to heather, lilac as well. In spring, there's so many lilac trees in this city. It's just amazing, and you can just get some flowers in the trees and bring them back home, and it smells heavenly. So I think most of the time the blooming only lasts for 1 or 2 weeks, so you have to be really quick and try to enjoy it as much as you can. So yeah, I think lilac and heather are on my list. I really want to have something specific that would remind me of my stay in Latvia. I wish that I had started in China, because the plants there were absolutely amazing. Some huge jungle plants and things that I've never seen or heard about before. So yeah. I also keep my threads in this little box, which is an very old Soviet. I don't read Russian, so I cannot tell you what it is, but it's yarrow. That's a drawing for yarrow, and I think I don't know what it was. Probably seeds, but the packaging seems to be really big for that. So yeah, I keep thread, very messy threads, and buttons as well at the bottom. This one. I'm very disorganized, so I try to keep everything in like small boxes, so then it's not all over the place, especially with yarn and things like that. Yeah, and I have, I think, one last thing to show you. I've been at the, okay, that's absolutely crazy. I looked at that plant like 10 minutes ago, and the flowers were not blooming yet. So I went to the botanical garden a few months ago, and I grabbed a couple of plants. It was so cheap. I think that for 7 plants I paid like €7 or something, which is ridiculous. and I was too scared to ask what the plants were, so I just came back home and tried to make my own research and figure out what I bought. And I have this little one. So I just posted a picture on Instagram to know if any of you knew what this beautiful flower is. I love when my flowers start to bloom. It's very lovely. And this week I've also started planting some seeds because last year, a bit later, I think in March, I started planting seeds and it was a bit too late. So in July, August, and September, I had tomatoes. I grew them on my tiny balcony. And I had planted many more things, but nothing really grew in the containers. So we had a couple of tomatoes, and that was it. And even though that was a small success, I was a bit disappointed that I wasn't able to grow more things than that. So this year I'm starting a bit earlier, and I'm trying hard. I mean, I planted the seeds, so I don't really have anything to do except trying to give them as much light and water as possible. So I'm planning to have a bit more things on the balcony, and we are also crossing our fingers to have a small piece of land, a small garden. We're going to ask someone if we can grow things there, because it's something that we really like and we think it's really, really important. So I'm going to show you my baby shoots. And it grew again. So here I planted some spinach, and these little ones are radishes. Then I have planted calendula, salads, pepper. There's also tiny shoots here and there. Tomatoes, just different things, and I will try really hard to make it work, because that's something that I'm really, really interested about. One of my dreams is to have a piece of land later and grow my own things. So if I start small right now, I will most probably gain some experience for later. And it's always so gratifying to grow things yourself, or get them somewhere in the woods. That's a wonderful feeling, I think. So that's it for this week. I think I will have more knitting to talk about next week or the week after. I think that's about it. You can find me on Ravelry as Mandarines, Bee Mandarines. I will link it in the show notes. And you can find me on Instagram as Bee Mandarines. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to some podcasts that I really, really love. I never had the chance to talk about this. So I'm watching quite a bit of podcasts when I knit or when I'm doing things, because I spend all of my days at home, and it's always nice to have some chatty lady talking about knitting or things like that. So recently there's one lady that is called Maria, and she started a podcast, which is called Stitched in Sweden. So I really, really love this one. I'm also watching A Homespun House, of course, since the very beginning, since the very, very first episode. I'm watching Claire as well, A Nightbird. Fiber Trek with Sarah. Listening to the Wolful podcast, of course. I'm going to forget podcasts for sure because my list is gigantic. Kristen from the Skin podcast. I think I will include everything in the show notes. That would be easier because I'm going to forget podcasts because the list is quite long. So yeah, I hope that you're going to have a very nice end of your week. If you're knitting on the Canopy shawl, there's a kale running in the Mandarine's group in Ravelry, and we also have one hashtag for Instagram. It's hashtag Canopy KAL, so you can see everyone's projects. There's quite a bit of projects. Canopies growing, and some are already finished, and I'm so happy to see this pattern knit by different person, and that it is knit with different yarns. I just love it so much. So share your pictures on social media and on Ravelry. I just love it so much. And if you plan to knit a water lily very soon, tell me. We could start a mini kale or something. Just tell me if you're interested. So that's about it. I wish you a beautiful end of your week. Happy knitting, and see you soon. Bye.